What's up, XRP family? Thank you guys for joining the video for today. Let's dig in. We have some interesting stuff to talk about. Here we go. Charles Hoskinson comments on XRP. So this guy is kind of playing a victim, which I don't like. But here he is again, saying that he doesn't know how to handle the XRP community because he actually said that there would be a settlement on 15th. And he just heard a rumor. But the thing is, if you don't want to get roasted or don't want to get targeted by people or in the XRP community, then don't say anything. Shut up. He's saying it's on the 15th. Settlement is on the 15th. People go crazy. Of course, because they think that he has some insider information, right? And now he's crying about it. So this guy is just playing the victim here against the XRP community. Let's take a look what he's saying.
And broadcasting live from warm, sunny Colorado. Always warm, always sunny, sometimes Colorado. Keep this one brief and short, sweet and to the point. So, as many of you know, I do AMAs on a regular basis. And in AMAs, the audience asks me any question that they want. So they asked me a question about what would you do if Cardano is a security? And I went into a dialogue about that. And of course, one of the corollaries to any discussion about cryptocurrencies being securities is the XRP case, because it strikes at the heart of layer one securities and the definitions of whether they are or not, and what facts and circumstances are required in making that decision. This is an industry-wide concern. So in my discussion about that question, my answer to that question, I talked a bit about a rumor that I had heard from a pretty reliable source who was close to the case about a potential resolution of the case by December 15th. So I just threw it out there and said, well, that's something I've heard. When I said it, many people in both the XRP community and in the media decided to take that comment as Charles Hoskinson believes the case is going to get settled December 15th. After it didn't get resolved, I was accused of lying, and I was accused of yet again creating a FUD and trolling. I don't know how to interact with the XRP community. I think my statements have been historically very measured and supportive. I do not believe XRP, for example, is a security, and I've put years of support along those lines. I've been very appreciative of the time I've spent talking to people like Arthur Brito, Larson, and others. And there was a time where there was active dialogue and cooperation between Ripple Labs and my organization.
So it's very interesting what he says for the rest, guys, that there was cooperation with Cardano and XRP, and that he heard from a reliable source that there was a settlement. But my point is, don't say anything if you're not sure, right? Because you know how important this case is. And he's kind of playing the victim here while he absolutely knows how important this case is. And then he just throws a date out there, you know. Of course people are going to get mad. Of course people are going to throw stuff at you when it doesn't happen. It's normal, right? So let's take a look at R3 Corda. In this clip, Corda Khan, the DTCC Hannah Venugopal sits down with Gendel to discuss the scope of DTCC's responsibilities in the US financial system. View the full session to hear about DTCC. So DTCC is very interesting because they mentioned Ripple and XRP a lot. And with this new financial system that is coming, we absolutely know that the DTCC is also involved with the Ripple network. Let's take a look.
$2.37 quadrillion. That is the dollar value of the amount of securities.
Listen again, guys. 2.37 quadrillion. That's a huge sum of money. That's why we always say all the money. This is what it means. Look at that.
$37 quadrillion. That is the dollar value of the amount of securities transactions DTCC processed in 2021 alone. 2.37 quadrillion.
How many? I'm just trying to think, how many zeros is that?
How many zeros are there in that quadrillion? So more than 50 years, we've been seamlessly clearing and settling the transactions related to US securities, government and mortgage-backed securities, and fixed asset income assets.
That is insane. So you settle these trades.
Exactly. So if you're talking about the SIFMUs, out of the 8 designated SIFMUs in the U.S. financial market, we operate 3 of them. So what does that mean? Like, when you say we operate 3 of the SIFMUs, any failure to one of our clearing agencies or subsidiaries could cost a systemic risk in the U.S. financial system, which in turn translates to the global financial market itself. So that is why we are always supervised by heightened security and regulatory standards by all the regulators, including SEC.
That is insane, guys. 2.37 quadrillion in 2021. That is insane. That's what XRP could cover in the future. Think about that. Seriously, look, he launched this the same day of the lawsuit. There are no coincidences in this thing. Sam was going after ODL with these other people, and obviously had the blessing of the then SEC chair Jake Layton to start up projects under their noses, also with Gary Gensler waiting. Now, this is a very interesting argument that we can have and talk about, because what they actually wanted to do is make an own Ripple, right? They wanted to make their own system so they could bypass Ripple and use another technology. But what they didn't understand and know, that this technology is way too advanced, guys. Ripple is way too advanced. They are building this stuff for a decade and they underestimated it. And now they have to face the consequences. That is why this paper is also interesting. It's Oxygen, the prime brokerage protocol. So this is actually, you can't read it, but this is stuff about the project that they were going to launch and actually trying to compete with Ripple, right? And it failed. Here you can see CBDC and Ripple. Let's take a look what this guy is saying. Very interesting argument here as well.
The central bank digital currency, in my opinion, Ripple XRP has created that to sort of humor the banks, okay? Because at the end of the day, we're not going to go into programmable money. I don't think we're going to go into enslavement where I'm walking down the street and, Mel's got a minus 717 score because he's a bad dude, right? And he cannot buy or sell and all that kind of stuff. That's total enslavement. I think they did that to sort of humor them because the banks it's like we have this blockchain, right? Joshua and SG. And on this blockchain, we could transact peer to peer, but all of a sudden the banks have been humored to think that they have a central bank digital currency. We're adding an extra toll onto the highway saying, hey, when you come through, not only are you going to pay a little bit to XRP, the whatever 0.00004 of 1 penny, to transact, but you also have to pay us. The fact is, I could pay you direct. We could pay each other direct. I think it's a game of charades. I think it's a bullshit story. I don't think it's going to hold any water going down the road because people don't want enslavement.
Now, there's very interesting things that he's saying, guys. So he's saying that he's not believing in CBDCs, that they will completely take over, right? But this can be argued. Of course, CBDCs is something that is coming. We cannot doubt that. It's coming, 100%. A lot of countries are already building the infrastructure and making CBDCs, right? But now is the question, will they use total enslavement with this money? Now, it will not happen in one go, but it will eventually get there. It will eventually get to a point where they can stop your accounts and they can do whatever they want. But this will not be as CBDCs roll out that they will do this. And you can see China, it's already happening. China are using CBDCs. If you make some bad decisions, they can interrupt your banking services. That is just the reality. Now, of course, people will go against that. I believe that as well. But we cannot stop what's coming. CBDCs are 100% coming, guys, because we are dealing with inflation and debt, and they cannot cover that anymore. Bankers are going bankrupt. They need a solution. CBDCs provide that solution. They get a new start, new financial system. So it's very interesting what he's saying. I don't fully agree. I think it's going to happen eventually that CBDCs are the norm and that they can program the money. So it's very interesting. Let's see what's going to happen. Here we have another video. Let's take a look. All the money.
If we just look for a few seconds at the scale of the change that is coming, to the world of banking and payments in particular as a result of ISO 20022. It's actually frightening. 11,000 financial institutions in more than 200 countries around the world. That's just the correspondent banking network affected by the swift transition to ISO 20022. Add to that all of the domestic institutions that are attached to domestic payment systems. There are nearly 8,000 of those in the United States of America alone who are on their own path towards implementation of ISO 20022. Many of those domestic institutions, of course, are not part of the international correspondent banking network. Then there's the corporates. This is an enormous change. And actually, as you say, there's an enormous shortage of skills in this area.
Now, this is so important to understand, guys. Why do you think it took Ripple a decade to get to ISO 222 and to actually make a change in this system? You can hear him say that. It's a huge industry. It's a very, very big industry, guys. It's not easy what they're doing, and sometimes people forget that. They just want the price of XRP to go up, right? But look what Ripple is actually doing. Look what they're solving. They're solving a problem, which is a financial system that is actually 60, 70 years old. It's not easy, and everything has to be disrupted, right? So just remember that. Remember that it will require some steps, guys, to get there. But we are close. We are very close. Closer than ever. Thank you very much for watching the video, guys. See you in the next one. Cheers.